So you got a name, Phantom?
Call me Evil.
What's going on, guys? BJ Mambo here, and welcome to BJ in a Movie. Tonight's episode, with New Year's Eve around the corner, I figure what better movie to talk about than the 1980 slasher New Year's Evil. During a New Year's Eve celebration, a Los Angeles disc jockey receives a phone call saying that when New Year's strikes in each time zone, someone will be murdered and she will be the last one. The film is written by Leonard Neubauer and directed by Emmett Alston. Stars Roz Kelly, Kip Niven, and Grant Cramer. The film is a 1 hour, 25-minute runtime. Yeah, when I saw that the runtime was an hour 25, I thought, perfect. You know, a movie like this, it needs a nice tight time like that. You know, you see some movies, specifically, let's say slashers, that if you're like in the 140s or higher, it's like, this movie's probably going to drag a little bit. But an hour 25, I'm like, perfect, man. Off to a good start. Just to give you guys a heads up, I will be discussing this entire movie, so expect some spoilers.
Let's do this.
Let's make a baby.
What?
So the movie opens up in this massive Holiday Inn hotel, where inside you meet lead character Diane Sullivan. I think she's talking with her assistant. I want to say it's her assistant, but they're talking, discussing the evening. Okay, I'll meet up with you later. Okay, so she leaves and the other stays back. So you know this assistant is, she's going down. So now you're with the assistant in her hotel room. You know, she goes in the bathroom and she starts kind of getting ready. While this is happening, she starts hearing this dripping coming from the shower. Turns around, turns the thing, dripping stops. All right, I'm gonna go back to get ready. She goes back getting ready. And the suspense, you know, it's pretty good suspense scene so far. You know, there's no music, lack of sound. Like it's pretty, it was pretty good. You know, she leaves the bathroom, comes back. Sure enough, here's that dripping again. Dripping stops, go back to the mirror, and then you know it. Killer pops out, pulls her in, and you get yourself an off-camera death. Not bad start to a movie. Not bad. So we cut to the opening credits, and let's call it the New Year's Evil theme song is playing. Super 80s. Exactly what you expect. While the credits go by, you're with this car full of punks cruising down the main road, causing a ruckus. It's like, okay, kind of made me think of Return of the Living Dead-esque. Like, you got them with these punks. Like, all right, I'm down with that. They show up at the Holiday Inn for this party. They don't have tickets. Somehow they punked their way in, and now they're in the party. Credits end, song ends. It's like, all right. But then, once they get into the party, you just don't really see them anymore. Like I said, I was under the impression that these were the main characters, but once they're inside and the credits are over, nope, don't see them anymore. Now you're back at that Diane chick's room. She's still rushing, she's still hurrying up, getting ready, and her son comes in. You meet her son, Derek, and right off the bat, flimsy as F of a relationship. They're trying to talk. She's kind of ignoring him, brushing him off. You find out he's an actor, and she's the DJ ready to host this big New Year's event. He's trying to tell her about this role he just got. She's just like, yeah, tell me later. All right, I gotta go, sweetie, sorry. She's out of there. And he stays back, and it's like, all right, something's going on with this. Now we're at the big New Year's party. Diane comes out on stage, people cheer, she gives a rundown of the evening, we're taking calls, taking requests, blah, blah, blah. So, line full of phones and, chaos, and everyone's partying, having a good time. It seemed like pretty good, clean fun. But then, sure enough, one of the first callers, conveniently, is the killer. He got through. I don't know how many people are calling, but killer seems to get through like that. So you cut to this killer, this guy. He has one of those voice changer, almost like Scream, talking through the phone, blah, blah, blah. And you see this guy clear as day. And I said, okay, you see his face. All right, maybe. All right, that's whatever. So he's talking. He's saying this whole thing. He gives her the rundown of what he's going to do. I'm going to kill every hour leading up to midnight. And at midnight, I'm going to kill you. And, it was pretty creepy dialogue, but the voice was kind of corny, with the voice changer and I'm evil, it was a little corny for me. So he calls in, threatens her family, all that, hangs up. She's a little nervous, calls the cops. No, New Year's prank. Don't worry about it. This happens every time. She She's okay. She's a little bit worked up, worried about it, so she calls her son. And for a brief moment, she seems like a pretty genuine mother, caring mother, asking if he's okay, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as he says, I need to talk to you, I got something important I want to talk to you about. Oh, no, I gotta go, honey, sorry, click, and she's out of there. It's like, okay, she's back to being that mother again, which, again, like, are you supposed to root for her? Like, because she's not... That's one of the things with this movie. I don't really know who you're supposed to be rooting for, but probably not her. So it cuts back to the show, and the first band goes up and performs. And what song is it? Sure enough, it's that New Year's Evil theme again. The same exact song. The same song you heard literally like 5 minutes before. And I remember it started, and I'm like, is this the same song? I'm like, yep, this is the same song. We're totally hearing this again. All right, whatever. And while the song's playing, you get this kind of cool transition. It cuts to the TV of the performance going on, so the song continues. But now we're at this mental institution, and all the mental patients are kind of dancing part into the song. So this song is really playing the whole entire song, as far as I'm concerned, was played again. But it was a cool transition. I'll give it that. Outside the mental institution, you see the killer. Now it's pretty obvious. Like, okay, we're gonna see this guy's face. We're gonna hear this guy. We're with this guy. This isn't no masked killer in the shadows. Like, no, we're following this killer throughout this entire movie, which is a pretty cool, unexpected thing. So then he manages to sneak inside this mental institution. Like, a worker comes out the back. He goes in the back door, and why this place isn't secured with keys and locked doors, I don't know, but he just conveniently, again, sneaks in. While inside, at the same time, this nurse is, I don't know, she's on break. I don't know where she's going, but she's walking down the hallway. She leaves her quarters or her patients, or I don't know, but she's coming down the hallway. Door opens up. She runs into the killer. He's wearing some form of scrubs, and he says, "Oh, I'm the new worker. They sent me over from blah blah blah." Oh, okay, and she totally bought it. There was no question about it. And then you really meet the guy, and then you see, like, okay, this is kind of this smooth, suave, like, charming-esque type of dude, which makes it even creepier, really. And he's so smooth that he convinces her to go to some back room and drink champagne with him. I guess he's that smooth, and he just, it's like, all right. So she goes back, and then they start drinking, and then they start hooking up. And since the killer's a classy guy, he decides to turn on the radio, set the mood. So he's playing some New Year's broadcast. I'm not sure if it's the same one. I don't know, but it's another New Year's broadcast from a different time zone, which I don't even know if that was even possible to play on a radio a station from a different time zone. I don't know. I don't think that's possible, but maybe it is. So he's playing the song. They're going at it, and the countdown begins. And I tell you, it was another sequence in this movie that I thought was pretty good. You got this countdown, 10, 9, they're hooking up, the nurse's blouse is open, blah, blah, blah. Of course, he pulls out a knife. 5, 4, get to 1, you know what happens, stab, stab, he gets her. And it was another good sequence, I thought. I'm like, okay, that was cool with the countdown. It was cutting back and forth, different things. One thing I do want to add, the editing in this movie was pretty solid, what I was picking up on. A lot of jump cuts and back and forths, and I'm like, okay, this is so that's a positive about this movie, is the editing. I thought was pretty good. So he kills the nurse, and then he gets the F out of there. We cut back to Derek, and he lost it. I mean, earlier he took pills. You weren't sure what was going on. I don't know if he was taking his life or not, but he was still alive, and now you see him, and he's just completely lost it. He's putting these stockings over his head. He's poking him he's stabbing in his ear or something. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's like, all right, this guy's kind of out there. But he's not the killer. You know who the killer is, and it's a different dude, obviously. And but old boy Derek, something's going on with him. Something is going on with him. I forgot to add, when he was killing the nurse, he recorded it. He pressed record on the radio and recorded her death, which I thought was pretty cool, and her screaming and stuff, which was pretty cool. Cut back to another payphone. Killer calls in. Sure enough, he gets through. Like, again, I don't know if there's like how many hundreds of calls. Conveniently, he's a very convenient killer, but he gets through again. Talks to her, has that stupid voice thing again, kind of sounds corny. And he plays for her, the woman getting killed, the audio of her screaming and getting murdered. And he even tells her where the victim's at. It's at this, mental home, blah, blah, blah. You can find the body there. Click, hang up. Cops go. Sure enough, they find the body. Oh, maybe we better take this guy a little more serious. Now the killer's out of the scrubs and he's back in his car. Time for a new get-up. He's feeling. Slaps on this nice fake mustache, puts on the suave clothes, and goes to some party he just gets in, I guess. So he's at this new party. Another band going on. Kind of like a little musical sequence, like a music video-esque thing going on, and which is cool. I mean, whatever. I mean, it's very of its time. You know, it was like an 80s punk band. I'm not sure if it was any known band or not, but I'm like, okay, you know, you got a lot of music in this movie. It's cool. You know, New Year's Eve party. It's cool. It's cool. So he's at this new club. And again, like that, he picks up this chick. Like, no problem. You know, he convinces her, oh, I'm this business manager. I'm going to this Hollywood celebrity party. You should come with me. And she's like, okay. She's like kind of real ditzy. And so then they leave. When they leave and out, I got to bring my friend. So she brings a friend along because, you know, you gotta be safe. You got to be safe. They find a liquor store. They pull over. He tells the one friend of the girl, here, go in there. Get the most expensive bottle of champagne you could find. She's like, okay. She takes off. So now he's alone with the girl he originally wanted to pick up. So they're talking, and then he does the old, you know, it's the hour's coming up. He does the old smell of this weed suffocation bit, which, the old classic move that you read about. And that's basically what happens. He breaks out this big bag. It's like this giant bag, and there's like this much weed in it. Take a whiff. Around, suffocates her out. You do see this death. It's not an off camera, but just a bag over the head suffocation death. You know, whatever. Her friend's in the liquor store. Blah, blah, blah. She comes out. Car's gone. Huh. She looks down and finds her friend's shoe. Well, that's sketchy. That's not good. Her heel. You know, that's not good. What she should have done was went back in the liquor store, called the cops. But now she said, I'm going to investigate. So she starts following, she starts walking. Here's another heel. Huh, it's like a trail of breadcrumbs. Oh, keep walking. Here's a scarf, whatever it is. She keeps going. Again, not, deciding to follow this. So she's asking for it also. Leads up into this dumpster when there's like her coat's like hanging out of the dumpster. She's still not sketched out. So she completely opens the thing. It's it's heavy, and then the killer jumps out, pulls her in, and kills her. I mean, at that point, she was asking for it. So now he has two more victims. He goes, makes a call, same thing, tells where the victims are at. Cops show up, find the dead bodies. So you see a lot of the aftermath. You see the victims afterwards. So not much on-camera deaths, but more of the, finding the victims. And by the way, I want to add, the cops in this movie is some of the worst acting. I don't know if it was like intentional or I don't know what, but when the cops discovered these victims, it was, when you watch it, you'll see. It's just like, my Lord, where do they get these guys? But the whole movie, the cops are pretty terrible actors. But so they find the bodies. Oh yeah, this is becoming the real deal. Now we're back with the killer, back in his car. Got to get a new disguise. He takes the mustache off, puts on a priest outfit. Okay, he's a priest now. Smooth. While he's driving, he kind of screws up and has a little bit of a fender bender with this gang of bikers. So he's slipping. This old killer's slipping. He freaks. Drives off. The bikers follow him. He can't get past those bikers, man. They follow him. He ends up pulling into a drive-in theater. Parks. Like I said, can't get rid of him. Bikers follow him. They come into the drive-in. He's sitting there in his car. He sees him. I gotta get out of here. He bails on his car. Cut to a random couple hooking up. Get a little topless shot there. It's a slasher movie. Can't go without some form of topless scene. Even though there's not many in this one. But you got this random couple hooking up. Killer shows up, opens the door, pulls the guy out, hops in the car, takes off with the chick in the back. Well, she totally could have jumped out and escaped before they left the drive. And even before he got in and started the car, she totally could have jumped out. But she stayed in and they drive off and, so now he's like, got a victim, good to go. Now he's going to wait for the hour. He's driving. She's begging, you know, I don't have any money, but I could do you. I could blah, 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 you know. Again, another kind of random victim that I don't know if you're supposed to care for or not. I don't know, just a random character. She ends up getting out. It was like a stop sign. They get a little hustle. She gets out of there. Running through the woods. He chases her. She's stopping. She's tripping. Just the cliche stuff. She eventually finds his baseball field and hides under these bleachers. You know, he's getting closer, closer. He's right there. He's about to find her. But right before he could find her, cops come. Hey, police! What are you doing there? Ha! Guy takes off running. Girl survived. She got lucky. So, little tip. If you want to survive, just go topless. The hotel is now on lockdown. No one goes in. No one goes out. But you know that killer, and he's a sneaky little one. Somehow gets in. You know, he calls one of the cops over. They come over. And again, another bad acting from the cop. Hits him with a brick. Puts on his uniform. And then goes right in. No problem. Goes right in. Cut back to Diane's room. Killer walks behind her. Masked killer holding a knife. Oh, snap. He takes it off. Sure enough, it's her husband. Kind of knew it was coming. You know, they had a run-on thing when they were trying to call him. Like the son, Derek, was trying to call his dad, and he's in the Bahamas or something. He can't answer, blah, blah, blah. You know, you kind of saw it coming, to be honest. Now, while Diane is talking with her husband, the cops soon find out that the husband is the killer. You know, they find his car, you know, at the drive-in, and he's not supposed to be in town. You know, he told the cop with her that, his manager let him in, blah, blah, blah. They called his BS. They knew he's the killer. Everyone now knows. And then, so let's end this movie. He walks away, and somehow he's, again, not really explained. He opens up the fuse box to the elevator, and he knows how to, like, control it somehow. Like, again, that's not really explained, but that's what he does. Diane's in the elevator with one of the police officers who's, like, escorting her around, and he starts sparking, filling with the fuse box. The elevator's going up and down. Almost crashes. He stops it at the end, so now she's at the bottom floor where he's at. He goes in, kills the cop, I guess, drags him out. She's a little bit, you know, I don't know if she, blacked out. She comes to, her husband's there. What's going on? And then you get kind of the motive. You get the rundown of what's going on. And it was kind of a lame motive. I mean, the whole thing was, you know, he said to her, you know, you're a bad wife, bad mother, you have to pay, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, a little bit lame, but I guess that's what, that was enough to push him over the edge, I guess. So he smacks her around, threatens her, and then somehow chains her to the bottom of the elevator. I guess when the doors were open, there was enough space, and he was able to chain her underneath. I guess he had the chains, I don't know. And then he goes back to the elevator fuse box controller thing and makes it go up and down. So now she's hanging, you know, below the elevator, hanging on chains, going up and down, like near getting crushed, you know. He's sitting there just having a good time. Then cops find him. They have a little bit of a shootout between the two. Diane was okay. I guess she's still just hanging there, and I guess somehow they find her. I don't really know. But her husband takes off to the stairs and goes up to the roof. Once he's up there, he's cornered. You kind of know what's coming again, a little predictable. But the one cool thing is he puts the mask on and then ends up jumping off the roof, which is kind of cool because normally it's like the opposite. Usually, you know, they have the mask and they take it off, say the blah, 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 and then jump. I thought it was kind of cool that he did it that way. That was a neat little switch up on it. So he's dead. Cops say, well, that's that, I guess. His body's at the bottom, you know, outside, surrounded by people on the street. And again, conveniently enough, one of the people is his son. He finds him, takes off his mask, sees him, hugs him, and then walks away. You know it's coming. We all know it's coming. Diane's alive. She's on a stretcher. They put her in an ambulance to take her off. All the fans are outside, paparazzi, blah, 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 having a field day. She's okay. She made it. The woman who it was kind of not that great of a person who should have probably died, I don't know. She's okay. Shut the ambulance door. All right, let's get going to the hospital. Sure enough, who's behind the wheel? Good old Derek, wearing the mask, her son. They drive off. Cut to black, movie ends. And what better song to play during the credits? Yep, you caught it, that New Year's Evil theme song again. We knew it was coming back. We knew we were going to hear it again. And I tell you what, though, the third time around, it kind of started growing on me a little bit. I don't know why. I was like, maybe this is kind of catchy. Corny, of course, but I don't know. Kind of grew on me. But final thoughts on the movie, I mean, I don't know. It was very predictable. It was cool that you followed the killer around. You know, kind of made it more of a psychological movie, more than like a slasher, horror slasher. The editing was well done. The acting for the most part was decent. Like, the main characters were all fine. It's just those damn cops, man. I don't know what was going on with those cops. There wasn't a lot of gore, these death scenes, special effects. There wasn't a lot of TNA and drugs and part. It was pretty tame as far as slashers go. But again, maybe more psychological because you're with the guy, the killer, the whole time. So I don't know. I mean, the movie's all right. It was decent. I didn't mind it. It was watchable. It was, like I said, the time, it was hour 25. It was a nice, tight movie. I think this was the first time I actually saw this movie, so it was fun doing this and watching something new. And but yeah, would I watch it again? Maybe not. Maybe not, but we'll see. Well, if you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I post weekly, so come back, check out more stuff. Comment below about this video, or about the movie, about anything. Hell, about anything. And I hope everyone has a happy New Year's, and I'll see you guys later.